Yeah. Anyway, let's go with JP right now. Let's see what JP has for us on the screen, and we share some thoughts at the end.
Good evening, asshole. Instead of being bothered by unpleasant truths, tonight we'll be giving you your 8th booster of comforting lies. Tonight you'll learn how diseases from China, the climate, and a former president all will be killing you, unless you listen to us, because we're here to help. And also, girls' teams filled with boys are doing quite well for some reason. Our top story, and perhaps the greatest contributor to climate change, President Trump. After colluding with Russia for centuries, orchestrating an insurrection against the US while he was in office, because that makes sense, and also probably being a serial killer, a New York judge has ordered Trump to pay $355 million in a civil fraud case. The fraudulent civil fraud case alleges that Trump inflated. This just in! This is definitely not a witch hunt, guys. This one is serious. Trump inflated property values in order to secure lower interest rates from banks on business loans. The definitely impartial judge in New York ordered Trump to pay an amount that, based on the nature of his crimes, is calculated to hurt him in his 2024 campaign. As Trump should have been paying higher interest rates to the centralized banking system, this ruling is a step of justice and finally someone doing something to protect big banks from citizens who aren't completely controlled by the banking system.
All right, hold on. I want to say something on that. Have you heard what the New York AG's been doing?
What have they been doing?
On her Twitter account, each day she's been posting updates of the interest rate of the payout for the settlement that he's racking up while he appeals the decision.
Okay.
On her personal Twitter account.
Okay. Say on.
This
who is the individual you mentioned?
The AG that prosecuted him.
Oh,
in New York.
Okay, I shouldn't be shocked about this. I don't know why.
So she's like, well, that's another 1.5%. This is the new tally, blah, 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 blah. On her Twitter account each day. Letitia James. Yes, thank you, Mad Catter. I couldn't think of her name.
Okay, Letitia James. So she did say she wanted to go after his assets. Yeah. So.
And she's giving daily reports on how much the toll keeps going up every day.
Yeah.
And can we say conflict of interest?
Absolutely. I think she's about to have a downfall, similar to the Fannie Willis downfall.
Oh, yeah.
All we have to do is wait. And I think it's good to allow her to expose herself. It seems to me these black women anti-Trumpers that are being used by the Democratic Party to go after Trump, they always fall apart. All you have to do is wait, because they eventually roast themselves by saying too much because they can't keep quiet, but because they think they're doing something so good. Just allow her, let her speak. I would say don't go after her, because we want to save those tweets.
No. I'm just saying that,
Yeah.
She's putting this stuff out there for the whole world to see.
Wow.
While she runs her mouth, and he's in the process of trying to appeal. And it's like, okay, go ahead. You keep running your mouth.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Have fun with that.
Yeah.
Let's see how much that backfires on you.
Yeah. Crazy. All right. Thank you. Well, I'm on a live stream already, so I can't really change that. I can edit that later. Thank you so much, Roque. Yeah, it was a copy and paste that I didn't finish. Grab the letter T. All right, let's keep going.
In the case, but the 2024 election will come first, so who the f cares? Next up, in How You're Gonna Die Unless You Listen to Us news, the always trusted World Health Organization has warned that Disease X, oddly enough made in China, is coming. And it's a matter of when, not if. What contagious disease experts understand when they look at the gene sequencing of disease X is that it's an election year, so of course it's coming. Also worth noting that you should not consider exactly why the World Health Organization knows for certain that it will be coming. It's science. This just in! Things like Event 201, though documented, never really happened. And in breaking climate change news, science has discovered that if you eat more bugs and pay more money to the government, then the weather will be more gooder.
Have you heard the recent news about, I mean, he mentioned it, what happened with, Pestilence 19, for a lack of words, since we're on this sensitive platform.
Mm-hmm.
They are now treating it. The CDC put out some guidelines saying that Pestilence 19 pandemic should be treated as a flu.
Yeah.
And
because essentially that's all it is, really.
Yeah.
Is just hyper flu.
Yeah, but we were told to roll up our sleeves and take on the supposed
poke.
Yeah, the pokey poke, the inoculation, or else you were a problem to society. You were the worst thing that ever happened in the world. So what they are essentially saying, all of that fear-mongering thing that we've experienced was just a big,
nothing burger. It's like, okay, yeah, sure, whatever. Say what you want. I'm just gonna sit over here and do me.
Yeah. And they have studies show. Look at John Hopkins. They had studies done in 2020 saying, no, it's not the flu. So we were told one thing. We were made to be afraid. We were told to go along with it, or else. Over 75% of people in this country has rolled up their sleeve. Monies were made. Sharers made money. And now in 2024, he's like, oh, nothing burger.
And people died.
Let's talk about the next thing. Yeah, how many people died, how many heart attacks, and all these issues that people had that are still yet to be investigated, and yet they have yet to admit if it has any relationship. But hey, let's just treat it like a flu. Why couldn't we do that? Why couldn't we do that the whole time? Mm-hmm. Why did strengthening our immune system was a bad idea? Why did we have to put this thing in our body in the first place?
We did.
Some of us. Anyway, let's keep going. I just thought that was very interesting. So we're supposed to just forgive and forget, and let's move on, right? All right, fine. Sure.
That's right. The idea that governments have weather control capabilities using the most sophisticated technology available is nothing more than a wacko conspiracy theory. Yet the idea that you can control the weather by changing what you eat is very sound, rational, scientific fact. And lastly, on the topic of science, a rather disturbing discovery. It's been uncovered that 97% of scientists agree with whoever is funding them. Accordingly, it is terribly unnerving to learn that there's 3% of scientists out there who don't and are clearly putting your health and well-being at risk. We will stay committed to stopping them. In sporting news, the high school high jump state championships in New Hampshire had a boy winning. This had all the girls losing. Just another positive step forward for women's empowerment. But a collegiate girls volleyball team in Toronto looked at that and said, hold my scrotum. They had not one, but 5 boys competing on their team. This just in.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my.
Ladies, you are in trouble, okay? Oh, if you've ever looked for the misogynistic among us, well, we found them.
Right.
Look no further. Talking about women's right.
Volleyball, a team has.
Where's the women's right when it comes to this? Where are their rights?
Exactly.
Where are their rights?
Where's all the feminists?
Yeah, where are the feminists when you need them? That's a good question. Yeah, I've heard a video of a feminist who used to get upset if she goes to the gym or something and a man opens the door for her. She got offended. Dare you open the door for me? Hold the door for me. I'm a woman. I can figure this thing out. I'm strong and independent woman. I said, okay. So You think it's such a bad thing for a man to open the door for you to show kindness and gentleness? It's okay, fine. Now we got a bunch of men playing among the girls, and some of them are causing concussion to the ladies.
Nothing but crickets.
Can you say something about that?
Just crickets.
Yeah. But we are the xenophobe and the homophobe and the misogynistic, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sure, whatever.
Boys competing on their team. This just in volleyball, a team has 6 players on the court. For this team, 5 out of 6 were boys. Now, you'll never believe this, but this team of boys actually dominated. Now, there has been some backlash against the team. However, this is just going to have to be the way it is until sporting organizations band together and collectively decide to form a boys division. Until that time, there's only one place for boys to compete. That's the girls division. And in very sad news that threatens our national security, the House has recently...
Have you also noticed that it's not the other way around?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you never see women going into boys' sports and excelling.
Yeah, if you really believe in all that transitioning stuff, right? Why aren't the ladies going to play the football games? Go ahead.
They tried. They tried. They had a female kicker. She actually kicked a football like 10 yards.
All right.
She tried out in the NFL and actually got to try to kick a field goal from, I think it was like 35 yards out.
Yeah.
And it went 10 yards. And she was like a professional soccer player.
Oh, wow. Even better.
Like, I'm like,
oh, man. And I know my ladies are strong emotionally, and we're not here making fun of women. All I'm simply saying is, this mixing that's going on here, it's not safe for the women. It's not safe.
No, it's not meant to be. It's not the way God intended.
Nope, it's not. That's not how we treat our women. This is not right. But Lord have mercy. It's crazy, man. What's going on here?
In very sad news that threatens our national security, the House has recently impeached Homeland Security Secretary Mayorkas. The band of Republicans in the House who got impeachment happy believe that Mayorkas deliberately making the border as unsecure as possible is somehow a threat to border security. Pretty much baseless claims. But as the story goes, for many high-level government people, Mayorkas can likely expect a cushy job in private industry. Perhaps he'll be directly hired as a human trafficker himself, be hired as the CEO of ISIS, or sit on the board for the cartels. Either way, as effective as he's been in his government position, he'll likely be even more effective at his job once he makes the move to the private sector. That's it for today's news. You've been fed a full dose of comforting lies that we tell you are truths, and you're welcome. And we hope you die soon. We're doing our best on that. But until you do, please be as compliant and thoughtless as possible while forgetting your humanity. Have a beautiful evening. Good night.
JP is crazy, man. He said, I hope you die.
But he's not wrong. I mean, that's pretty much how the government sees it.
See that's how they feel about us. Oh, Lord have mercy. I don't know, man. I think there is some very intentional evil going on here. It's not even like my opinion anymore, my thought and perspective anymore. It's not even about politics. It's like there's some really dark, shady stuff happening. Mm-hmm. Even from the perspective of Donald Trump, it's like, it's not even like politics anymore. It's pure hateful and bigotry. It's like, oh, I see your heart. You're very wicked.
Well, that's like what they're trying to do in Colorado. They're trying to put an additional 11% sales tax on gun sales.
Wonder why?
Because for mass violence. Because they want legal gun owners to pay for the crimes of
illegal
bad actors.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
So now you're up to 22% sales tax on any pew-pew that you buy in Colorado. Basically, what they're trying to do is make it impossible for the average person to own any type of firearm.
Yeah.
and price out them in Colorado.
I wonder if it is okay by law to purchase a firearm outside of your state. I wonder.
No,
I'm not sure how the law goes.
because that goes into interstate commerce laws.
Mm.
If you purchase a gun out of state and take it over state lines, then
Mhm.
you're going into crossing state lines and interstate commerce laws.
Wow. Whew.
Yeah.
All right. I'm not-
So it's a whole thing.
Yeah.
And that you get the ATF on you about.
Yeah. That's
And actually New York
Mm.
is currently wrapped up in a lawsuit where they currently have a lawsuit filed against them from Newsmax. One of the reporters was carrying concealed while reporting in New York,
Mm.
but they refused to recognize his permit from
Okay.
another state.
Mm.
So
Hmm.
he's suing New York State in order to, because out of state residents can't have a concealed carry permit in New York State.
Hmm.
So one of two things is going to happen. Either New York may end up having to issue out of state people concealed carry permits,
One. Or
worst case scenario,
he will lose his license.
or two, best case scenario, we get nationwide reciprocity,
Mm.
which means you can conceal carry anywhere.
Which I doubt is ever going to
Which, well, I mean, it's a possibility.
Depending on who is in the White House and everything, there's a whole lot behind that.
Yeah.
You see, there's a lot of politics behind that.
My concern is if it gets up to the Supreme Court, there's a lot of people on the Supreme Court that kind of wishy-washy, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Amy Coney Barrett, that we thought would be like great conservative judge and all this and that and the other thing,
But
and go by the letter of the law, doesn't seem to be quite that as conservative as we thought she might be.
Yeah, when it comes to certain things.
Yeah. So I mean, especially with 2A rights, a lot of times she votes against 2A rights.
Yeah.
She's usually in the dissenting opinions. So that's a bit of a concern.